Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod's IAS classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to discuss current affairs of 31st October 2021. In this lecture, we are going to discuss 9 topics which are very much relevant to UPSC. So let's get started with our discussion and let us try to see which are the topics that we are going to discuss in this lecture. So first topic is about Prime Minister calls for united fight against COVID-19 at G20. So here our Prime Minister mainly called for united fight against this COVID-19. So single country can't fight against this COVID-19. So we need coordinated effort from different countries such that we can fight against this global pandemic COVID-19 at G20. So here you need to focus on what is this G20 as well. So whenever you are studying your static syllabus under international relations, you will come under this international groupings. So in that we will be having this G20, BRICS, okay, SAARC, etc. So G20 it is one of them. So it is very important from our static syllabus. And from this G20 you can also get some prelims based questions. Not only UPSC but also even in other some state public service examinations. So this topic will be important from IR which comes under our GS paper 2. And next topic is about abortion rules to aid minors. So actually in June 2021 government came up with this new rules of abortion. So now government notified these rules. So because of this is in news. So it is important from our polity which comes under GS paper 2. And this topic will be important from your mains. So students who cleared this year prelims and if they are preparing for this year mains, so they need to focus on this new abortion rules. For sure, for 100% there will be question from this topic in your GS paper 2. And next topic is about Indian farming practices. So in this farming practices, we are going to talk about 4 important things. Okay, so Indian farming practices learning from elsewhere in the world. So this article is important from our geography which comes under GS paper 1. So whenever you are reading this NCERT from class 6 to 12th, I think in 9th, 10th NCERTs you will come across the topics that we are going to discuss now. So that will be important from your static syllabus. And next one is Asian spiders seen in Georgia. So this topic is important from our environment and ecology which mainly comes under GS paper 3. And next topic is about scientists find a mineral seen in depths of earth in a meteorite. So actually we know that in 2012 one great meteorite shower that happened and that led to meteorites mainly fall on land on Ketol. Okay, Ketol. So what happened? These meteorites they mainly studied and this article came up with one interesting study regarding this meteorite at Ketol. So this is important from art, science and technology, and even you need to know what is difference between meteor, meteorite and meteorite. So this will be important from your basic geography. So please refer that. I already explained you a number of times what is difference between meteoroid, meteor and meteorite. Right? You have to again revise those differences. And this one is bear necessities. So this article mainly talking about polar bear. So here we need to know some facts regarding this polar bear as well because recently and recent days here polar bear it is highly news and recently one article in our Indian Express also said about this polar bear. So whenever there is decreasing or melting of Arctic ice that is seen by 2100 then there will be extinction of these polar bears and seals which are mainly inhabited in that area. So here polar bears will become very important for this year from environment and ecology. And next topic is about scent of danger. So this article mainly talking about olfactory, okay, olfactory cells. For example, if you are talking about we are having 5 senses, okay, 5 sense organs. For example, I say like skin which mainly helpful for our to feel our touch. Next one is eyes for sight and as well as ear to hear. And nose mainly to have smell, and next one is our tongue to have taste. So these are five important sense organs. So out of which this article mainly talking about olfactory cells. So this will be important from our science and technology which mainly comes under this GS paper 3. And next topic is about peering at Zoe. So this article mainly talking about different strips which are present on Jupiter. As we know, the biggest planet in our solar system is Jupiter, and it is also mainly present beyond our asteroid belt, and it mainly called as a Jovian planet or a gas planet. So here what happened, if you see about this Jupiter, we can see light and dark bands are present. So this article mainly talking about what might be reason for those bands or banding. So this will be important from our science and technology, which mainly comes under GS paper 3. And next topic, it is about Alzheimer disease. So what is this Alzheimer disease? Actually, you know that it is a psychological disorder, or we can say like it is a neurological disorder. So whenever any patient who is suffering from Alzheimer disease, you will be saying like whatever they will be saying, so they will be repeating, okay? And as well as we can also say there will be memory loss. Even sometimes their names they will be forgetting, their home address they will be forgetting. So this is about this Alzheimer disease. We are going to discuss that in detail, and this will be important from our science and technology, which comes under GS paper 3. So in science and technology, you will be having a topic like diseases, like communicable diseases and non-communicable diseases. So this Alzheimer disease, which mainly comes under this part of non-communicable disease. So these are the some important things that you need to remember. And now let us move on to first topic. Title says Prime Minister calls for united fight against COVID-19 at G20. So here our Prime Minister mainly addressing session of this G20 summit on global economy and global health. So in this context, our Prime Minister mainly said that so we need to fight against this COVID-19 in a coordinated manner. So this is the thing which mainly said by this topic. And now we are going to see what are the some important details given, and we are going to see some facts regarding this G20. So as I said earlier, this topic is important from international nations, which mainly comes under GS paper 2. So if you are talking about context, why it is in news, because so our Prime Minister mainly addressing this first session of this G20 summit regarding global economy and global health, so which mainly held in Rome. So if you are preparing for any state service examinations, you can get question like, so recently this global economy and global health of G20 summit which held in which place? So it is nothing but Rome, right? So in this context, our Prime Minister mainly spoke about what is a need for collaborative approach to fight against this COVID-19 pandemic. So he mainly focused that we need a collaborative approach to fight against this COVID-19 pandemic. So if you're talking about some important details, it mainly says that so at the summit of the leaders of world's major economies, so our Prime Minister mainly enlightened India's contribution during COVID-19 pandemic as it ensured medical supplies over 150 countries. So here our Prime Minister mainly said that India's contribution is very large regarding this COVID-19 pandemic, because India mainly ensured about medical supplies to over 150 countries across the world. So not only this, our Prime Minister also highlighted that there is a need of resilient global supply chains. Okay. So and these countries which are part of this G20, they need to invest in India, especially for supply chain diversification, and it will be also helpful for global recovery from the pandemic. So in all these areas, it will be very much useful. So first one is our Prime Minister mainly highlighted that there is a need for resilient global supply chains, and here these countries which are part of this G20, they need to invest in supply chain diversification in India, and that will be very much helpful to fight against this global pandemic and to recover from this global pandemic. And furthermore, if you see, our Prime Minister also spoke for resilient global supply chains, and also our Prime Minister mentioned about India's bold economic reforms, and also focused on even ease of doing business, and as well as cost of doing business in India, it is very much low. So if you're talking about some more things here, our Prime Minister also spoke about our vision of One Earth and One Health. And here we are mainly focusing or emphasizing that fight against this future pandemics mainly requires comprehensive global solutions. So whenever we want to fight against here future pandemics, So we need to focus on this comprehensive global solution. So if you're talking about further more details, Prime Minister also appreciated. So Prime Minister Modi appreciated this G20's push. Okay. So Prime Minister also appreciated this G20 moves to make global trade. So one important aim of this G20 here, it is to make global trade more transparent. Okay. And recently we saw that there is introduction of this global minimum corporate tax of 15%. So we discussed this topic in a very great detail, and as well as I recorded a separate video on this global minimum corporate tax. I will be giving you link of this video in description box. If you have not watched that video, please try to watch that video. So if you watch that video, you will be getting much insights regarding what is this GMCT. So if you're talking about India mainly said that the India which is not only vaccinated about over 1 billion people, but also we are able to produce more than 5 billion vaccine doses. So because of this, whenever there is increase in the production of vaccines, then that will automatically decrease vaccine inequity. That means only some countries have vaccines. Okay, some countries will have access to vaccines, but not all the countries. So because of this, whenever there is increasing of vaccine production, we can go for exports, right? So because of this, we can decrease this vaccine inequity in the developing countries. And now let us try to talk about some facts regarding this G20. So if you're talking about this G20, it is international forum, right? It is an international forum for governments and as well as central bank governors, and it mainly formed by 19 countries along with EU. Okay, 19 countries plus European Union. So it mainly forms this G20. So what will be the objectives? It is about it is mainly regarding dealing with international financial stability. So it is mainly focusing on international financial stability, and it will be also relating, okay, and it also deals with economic issues, especially regarding trade war like things. And next one is, if you're talking about this G20 members, they mainly comprise of 86% of this gross world product and 80% of world trade. And if you're talking about members, they include, so 19 plus EU, right? So those countries are USA, Canada, Mexico, okay, from North America. And this one is Argentina and Brazil from South America, and European Union, Germany, France, UK, Italy from Europe. And this one is South Africa, Saudi Arabia and Turkey. And this one is India, Indonesia, Australia, Russia, China, South Korea and Japan. So these are part of this G20. If you are talking about objectives, so objectives mainly includes, it is mainly focusing on financial stability, that is international financial stability, and will be also focusing to solve this BOP problems, balance of payment problems and financial markets, and will be also helpful for improving the coordination of monetary, fiscal and as well as financial policies as well. So if we are talking about what are the areas of discussion, so areas of discussion mainly include economic issues and as well as financial issues, global economy. They will be talking about women in labor market, and also they will be talking about sustainable development and global health and as well as fight against terrorism. So these are the some important things that you need to remember. And now let us try to focus on next topic. Title says abortion rules to aid minors. So this article mainly talking about recent new amendment, okay, to our Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act. Okay, we came up with Medical Termination of Pregnancy Amendment Rules 2021 recently, and now government came up with notification. So the new abortion rules notified by this union government. So because of this is a news. So this article will be important from GS paper to under polity. So if you're talking about context, it mainly says that the new abortion rules mainly notified. So these new abortion rules notified by union government, and recently they recognize minors as a vulnerable category and seek to make services more than accessible to them. So what happened? Why we came with this new abortion rules? So whenever there is no legality in abortion means, so people they will go for illegal things. So because of illegal abortions, that will lead to loss of life, and as well as that will lead to some family burden as well. So because of this, here government came with this new abortion rules. So these new abortion rules which mainly notified by central government now, and here this new abortion rules which also recognize minors. Minors, they are recognized as vulnerable category, and they are going to seek services more accessible for this minors especially. So these minors, they will be come across like sexual assault, or we can say rape. So because of all these things, that will lead to sometimes pregnancy. So whenever these minors, they want to go for termination of pregnancy, so here they need to follow some rules and regulations if they cross 20 weeks. But now this new abortion rules may increase from 20 weeks to 24 weeks. So this is one important thing that you need to remember. And if you are talking about details, it mainly says that the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Amendment Rules 2001, which mainly defined some new categories. It mainly came up with some new categories, especially for this vulnerable women. And these women, they are allowed to now go for termination of pregnancy till 24 weeks upon meeting certain conditions, and they need to get permission from 2 doctors at least. So if you're talking about some more things here, so this new abortion rules which mainly includes minors, survivor of sexual assault, and those with fetal malfunction, so they are mainly eligible. And if you see others may also seek abortion up to 20 weeks with the permission of 1 doctor. So if it is crossing 20 weeks means they need to take some permission from 2 doctors, etc. So if we are talking about some more things here, so the amended law which mainly provides for setting up of state level medical boards, and they will decide if a pregnancy can be terminated after 24 weeks or not. So if there is any case of terminating this pregnancy after 24 weeks, so here this committee, okay, so this state level board which will decide if pregnancy which is made up of which is mainly being terminated or not, so that can be said by this state level medical board. And minors, they were also included in the special category because they found large number of them, okay, and they are mainly approaching courts for permission to terminate pregnancies beyond 20 weeks. So if you're talking about background, what happened earlier? So if you're talking about background, in past there was opinion of 1 doctor was required to carry abortion up to at least 12 weeks, okay. So within this 12 weeks, if you want to go for abortion, so there is a need to advise just 1 doctor, and opinion of 2 doctors required for going abortion which is beyond 12 to 13 weeks. So after this 12 to 13 weeks, if any women who want to go for termination of pregnancy, they need to go for checking, or they need to come up with consultation with at least 2 doctors. So if we are talking about state level board, under the new rules here, state level medical boards, they will be set up, okay. So under this new rules here, state level medical boards will be set up, and they will decide if pregnancy can be terminated after this 20 weeks or not, okay. And next one is boards will examine the woman and her reports, and there accept or reject the proposal for medical termination of pregnancy. So after that, the process will be completed within 3 days of receiving request. And this one is board will also ensure that abortion procedure is carried, okay, with all precaution along with the counseling and as well as advising them. So these are some important things that you need to remember. And now let us try to see whether this is applicable for all the women or not. So experts mainly saying that considering the advancement in scientific and as well as medical technology, so extended our pregnancy due date till 24th week of gestation period, that should be open for all women, okay. For all women it should be open. Just it is not just for specific categories of women. So this is the thing which mainly said here, and I hope it is very much clear. Now let us try to see next topic. Title says Indian farming practices, learning from elsewhere in the world. So actually these are the farming practices that are practiced in India, but we are learning elsewhere from the world, that is from US. So yes, it is following strip cropping here, and as well as relay planting and as well as soil mulching. So here these are the practice that we are following in India, that is not new actually. So here we need to focus on what is this relay planting, what is this strip cropping, and as well as what is this soil mulching and no-tilling. So that will be important from our geography, that is from static syllabus, which comes under GS paper 1. So if you see context, it mainly says that a paper has appeared recently. The title of that paper is Integrated Farming with Intercropping. Okay, it is about integrated farming with intercropping, which mainly increases food production while reducing environment footprint. So it is mainly increasing food production and it is also having less impact on our environment. So if we are talking about details, it mainly says that, so this paper which mainly says about 4 important studies. First one about relay planting, second one it is about strip rotation, third one it is about soil mulching, and next one is no-till. So here relay planting says that it mainly increases yield. And if you are talking about strip rotation, means if you are taking this is a piece of land, so in this piece of land we are dividing it into different strips, and in this strip we are going for growing of so and so crop, and here we are going for different crop here, and here another different crop. Okay, so like that we are going for alternatively, or we can say like in this land we are mainly going for dividing this land into strips, and we are going for planting, for example, grass in one row, fruits in one row, etc. Okay, and next one is soil mulching. Soil mulching means nothing but this soil will be covered by straw, etc., grass, etc., such that will be decreasing of water evaporation. And next one is no-till. No-till, it is also called as reduced tillage. That means here when we are going for this reduced tillage, that will increases crop yield by 15.6% to 49.9%. So there will be approximately, we can say like 30% of increasing of crop yield. So this led to conclusion that small farm landholders, they can grow more food, and also they will be having reduced environmental footprint. So if we are talking about these 4 important things like relay planting, what is strip planting, and as well as no-till, and as well as soil mulching. So now let us try to see some details. So what is this relay planting? So relay planting means nothing but planting of different crops in the same plot on one right after another. Okay, so one right after another seasons we are going for planting of different. For example, this season I went for sowing of rice, and next season I will go for sowing of soya bean, and next season I will go for sowing of groundnut. So like that, what happened, there will be like different crops that will be produced or grown on the same plot. It is called as relay planting. So this relay planting or relay cropping, which is mainly practiced in India, especially rice or wheat, cauliflower, onion, summer ground, and as well as lady's finger, maize, etc. in the same season. And next one is advantages. If you are talking about advantages, I can say we can go for better distribution of labor, and as well as insect spread less. Okay, so because of this we can go for this relay planting. So if we are talking about where this relay planting it is practiced in India, for example in states like Telangana, Karnataka, Maharashtra, so we are mainly going for this relay farming, especially to earn more money. And this one is they plant onions, turmeric, chilies, ginger, garlic, and as well as even some native fruits. That will help to mainly get some profits for farmers. And if you are talking about strip farming or strip cropping, so it is mainly used in US actually. So this can be used in large land holdings. So here one strip we will go for growing of wheat, one strip we are going for growing of corn, one strip we are going for soya bean, etc. So this is the way in which we are going for the strip cropping. So in India we are having the large fields, so we can go for this, but India most of the crops are small and marginal land holdings. So because of this we can't go with this exactly. But in some areas of western India, so they are going for this type of strip farming. And if you are talking about soil mulching and no-till, so soil mulching means here it mainly requires a bare soil. Okay, so what is a soil? As we know that this is the uppermost layer. So in this soil, mainly to decrease erosion, we are mainly going for covering of this soil with some dried materials, dried straw, leaves, etc. Such that whatever the water we are pouring here, that will be there for some long period of time. So in this way, erosion will be curtailed, and as well as moisture is retained on the land, and will be beneficial for organisms, for example earthquakes, earthworms, etc. So because of this, earthworms are called as the friends of farmers. So why earthworms are called as friends of farmers? So please let me know in comment box. So if you study your science in your school days, you will be coming across this word, earthworms are the farmers' friends. So why? Right? So let me know in comment box and recall which is present in your database. So now let us try to see next topic is about Asian spiders seen in Georgia. So it is about Asian spiders seen in Georgia. So why it is in news? Because recently a large spider which is native to East Asia, which is mainly going for thick golden web on power lines and as well as porches, vegetable patches, etc. all over northern Georgia. Okay, so in this northern Georgia in this year, so a large spider which is native to East Asia, so it is mainly going for spinning of thick golden web, and as well as these golden webs are mainly seen on power lines, porches, and as well as vegetable patches. So if you're talking about details of this spider, that is Joro spider. So Joro spider's scientific name is Trichonephala clavata. So it is a common in mainly seen in Japan, China, Korea, Taiwan. Okay, and here if you see some characteristics of this Joro spider, so Joro females, they have colorful yellow, blue, red markings on their bodies, and it is not clear exactly that how and when this first Joro spider which arrived USA. So there is nothing like details that exactly when this spider entered into US. And next one is most of the Joros, they are expected to die by late November, and after that again they will return equally large or even larger numbers next year. Okay, so the scientists, they say that it is very much hard to protect with their certainty. So this is the thing. So this is the one important article from our environment and ecology. So here you need to remember which spider, that is Joro spider. Okay, Joro spider. So scientific name is Trichonephala clavata. And now let us try to talk about next topic. It is about scientists find a mineral seen in the depths of our earth in meteorite. So this article mainly talking about this meteorite. So this meteorite shower which mainly happened in Nagpur district in Katol. So there are many meteorites, they are mainly recovered, and the scientists, they are mainly conducting some studies. So this article mainly talking about one study regarding that meteorite. So this will be important from our GS paper 3 under science and technology. So if you are talking about context, it mainly says that the key findings of the study which mainly led by IIT Kharagpur. IIT Kharagpur researchers, they mainly came up with this study. So this study mainly said that this study mainly helped for understanding of formation and evolution of earth. It is mainly talking about formation and evolution of our earth. So as we know that whenever you come across this 11th class NCERT of your geography, there you will be having, especially in third or fourth chapter regarding volcanoes and earthquakes. So before that, one small topic is there, what are the sources of our earth. So we studied about direct sources as well as indirect sources. So in direct sources, we can talk about what are the rocks which are present, right? And here one direct source is also our meteorites. So from that we can connect this topic with our GS paper 1. So if you are talking about researchers, they studied a meteorite that mainly fell near a town of Katol of Nagpur in Maharashtra, and they recovered those samples, and finally they started studying on those meteorites, and finally they found that these rocks are mainly made up of one important mineral called as bridgemanite. Okay, so this bridgemanite, which is most abundant material in our interior of earth. So this is the thing which mainly studied in by our researchers. And next one is, this study also finded some evidences of the moon forming giant impact hypothesis. So here this article also talking about this moon forming giant impact hypothesis. So now let us try to talk about what is this theory. So that will be important from your means. So if you're talking about some facts regarding minerals, that is bridgemanite. So this bridgemanite, it is most volumetrically abundant, which is available in our Earth's interior. So in our Earth's interior, we have this bridgemanite. So it is mainly present in our lower mantle. So as you all know, mantle which is present till 2,900 kilometers, right? So from crust, it is about 2,900 kilometers. So that is from 660 to 2,700 kilometers. We can see this bridgemanite, it is present. And if you're talking about this moon formation theory or moon forming giant impact hypothesis, so this was a very long ago theory, and mainly says that 4.5 billion years ago, so Earth mainly collided with a planet. Okay, and this planet, it is of size of Mars. So name of that planet is Thela. And after colliding of Earth with this planet, because of forces, it has some impact on huge as to melt the Earth down from the surface to depth of 750 to 1100 kilometers. So because of colliding here, what happened here? Earth started melting. Okay. So what happened? This hypothesis also says that because of this melting of this Earth, whenever it is rotating, so here heavier metals, they come into middle, and lighter metals which mainly dispersed towards outskirt. So this is the thing which mainly said here. So if we're talking about magma ocean, so it is nothing but whenever our Earth which come up with contact or collided with other planet, then our Earth which started melting. Okay. So because of this, Earth was called as an ocean of magma in the past. So whenever it is spinning, what happened? So heavier metals that came into center and lighter metals that mainly dispersed through this outer surface. So if you're talking about this bridgemanite, which mainly consists of different minerals like magnesium, iron, calcium, aluminum oxide. Okay. So here this point is very important from your prelims. And now let us try to see next topic. It is about bear necessities. So if you see this image, you can understand they are polar bears. This article is important from our environment and ecology. So if you're talking about context, it mainly says that monitoring that polar bears eat, and whatever these polar bears eat, that can reveal the facts about environmental shifts and as well as distribution of this marine mammal prey. Okay, so whenever we are monitoring what this polar bear it is eating, that will mainly reveal some facts about environmental shifts and as well as the distribution of marine mammal prey. So prey means nothing but food, right? So if you see some details, it mainly says that recently researchers they found by harvest sampling of polar bear in Nunavut region. Okay, and they found that they are flexible eaters, and they are making them idle as a monitoring tool that will help to track our environment changes in Arctic region. So whenever because of this climate change and as well as global warming, so we can say there will be some impact even on this Arctic region. So recently one study which may released by Indian Express, it mainly said that so by 2100 there will be complete melting of ice. So with this melting of ice, some animals which are mainly seen in that areas, they will be also extinct. For example, here polar bears. So researchers mainly found that harvest based sampling of this polar bear, it is very helpful mainly to understand, and will be helpful for monitoring and also to track environmental changes in Arctic region. So if you are talking about some facts regarding polar bears, they are classified as marine mammals. So they mainly seen in sea ice and as well as Arctic region, and they are mainly inhabitable in Arctic region, Arctic circles here, and they have a thick layer of body fat and as well as water repellent coat, such that it mainly insulates itself from cold and as well as water. So polar bears, they spend over 50% of their time regarding hunting of their food. So if you're talking about ICN status, they are listed under vulnerable. And now let us try to see some threats. So sea ice loss from climate change, it is cited in a single biggest threat to their survival. So as I said earlier, so here sea level increase, or we can say like ice which is present in these polar regions, whenever they are melting, that will lead to some impact on these bears. And not only this, other activities like commercial industries, commercial activities, pollution I can say, and even diseases, inadequate habitat protection. So these are also potential threats. And if you're talking about next article, it mainly talks about scent of danger. It is mainly talking about our olfactory organ. So our olfactory organ in our body, it is our nose. So we have 5 sense organs. First one is our eyes, ears, nose, and as well as tongue, and as well as skin. So this article mainly talking about this olfactory organ. So now let us try to talk about this topic, which is important from our science and technology point of view. So if you see, context mainly says that the olfactory organ. So this olfactory organ which is regarding to our smell. So olfactory organ network which mainly helps humans to distinguish between millions of smells. So we can get good flavoring, fragrance, for example some flowers, some fruits, and even some dishes which we are preparing in our home. So because of this olfactory organ which is present in our body, that is a prime reason for getting different types of smell. So one question I want to ask here is, if you have suffered from this COVID-19, you will be having loss of smell. So though although it is a temporary thing, so what is the term which is mainly called with the loss of smell during this COVID-19? So let me know in comment box. I discussed with you many times. So if you're talking about details, it mainly says that a study by Karolinska Institute of Sweden, which has for the first time enabled for the measurement of signals of this olfactory. Okay, so olfactory bulb and as well as observe that what happens in the brain. So this is a study which mainly done by this Karolinska Institute of Sweden. So finally it said that researchers mainly found negative smells they are possessed earlier than compared to that of positive smells. So this is just of this topic, and now let us move on to next topic. Title says peering at Jove. So this article mainly talking about different bands that are present on surface of equator. So here you can see light band, here you can see dark band, here in between you can see dark band. So this article mainly talking about this Jupiter. So if you're talking about Jupiter, Jupiter is known for its banded appearance. So we will be having dark band, light band, dark band, light band, like that. So here we also have some white strips. So these are called as zones, and dark and reddish one they are called as belt. Okay, so belt means nothing but dark color, and here white color means that is nothing but zone. So if you are talking about details, it mainly says that using microwave radiometers, here Juno probe discovered appearance of this Jupiter belts and as well as zone inverts near the base of the clouds. Okay, so it is mainly focusing on this Jupiter belt and as well as zones. So here this study mainly found out that so these bands which are mainly the important reason for warmth of atmosphere or presence of ammonia. Okay, so because of presence of ammonia or because of presence of atmosphere warmth, that is leading to this dark colors circles, or we can say like banded picture that is seen on the surface of Earth, surface of Jupiter, not Earth. So if you're talking about some facts regarding Jupiter, it is a largest planet. It is mainly present beyond our asteroid belt. So they will comes under this Jovian planet or glass planet. Okay, so these are some important things that you need to remember. And if you're talking about some facts regarding this Juno mission, so this mission launched in year 2011 and it is on a mission to study about Jupiter's composition and as well as it mainly talks about Jupiter's evolution. So the important and primary goal of this Juno, it is to reveal the story of Jupiter's formation as well as evolution. So these are the some important things that you need to remember. And now let us try to talk about last topic, is about Alzheimer's disease. So if you are talking about this article which is talking about especially progress of this Alzheimer's disease. So if we are talking about context, mainly says that new research which mainly led by University of Cambridge researchers. So University of Cambridge researchers which mainly came with a new research, and this research mainly published in a journal that is Science Advance. So if we are talking about details, it mainly says that rather than originating in a single point. Okay, so if you are talking about this Alzheimer's disease, we can see it is a neurological disorder. So because of this, what happened, there will be formation of some plaques which is mainly seen in brain. So this study which mainly says that rather than originating at a single point. So there is a spreading as a chain, and as well as it is killing brains. So based on the progress of the killing of these brain cells, so we can see the progress of this Alzheimer's disease. So if we're talking about some facts regarding this Alzheimer's, so it is a neurological disorder. So here in this disorder, brain cells mainly degenerate and as well as they will die. So because of this brain cells which are mainly dying, that will lead to increasing of memory loss. Okay, increasing of memory loss. And next one is there will be also problem in speaking and as well as writing. We will be having some difficulties, and even we can have low cognitive development, like there will be poor judgment, changes in mood and personality, confusion that are mainly seen, and these are some signs and symptoms of this Alzheimer's disease. So the first stage, these symptoms are very much mild, but they become more severe with time. And as far as Alzheimer's, it is the most common cause of dementia among older adults as well. And dementia is nothing but like one thing, but it is a group of disorders that can cause intellectual loss. And Alzheimer's, which mainly caused by building up of proteins, those are called as tau proteins. So if you are coming from this medical background or pharmacy background, you will know about this tau proteins, right? So here these tau proteins, they are mainly important cause for building of some plaques which are seen in this Alzheimer's disease. And this tau protein, it is a protein that mainly occurs in tangle formation. For example, I can say like in the brain Alzheimer's patients, and it also disrupts even ability of neurons to communicate with each other. And this one is Alzheimer's, it is an incurable disease. We cannot cure this Alzheimer's. Okay, so because whenever the death of this brain cells is happening, we can't bring them into repair. And one more thing is women, they are much more at higher risk of having this Alzheimer's disease than compared to that of men. So these are some important articles that appeared in today's newspaper. And Sunday's newspaper, it is very important to cover the science and technology and environment related articles. So you need to focus on these topics. So by this I am concluding today. So please subscribe to this Rathod's IAS channel, and even try to share, like and comment my videos. Thank you so much.